gospel stories don't end with Jesus' death. They say that afterwards Jesus is taken down off the cross by his mother and a few others and buried in a rock tomb. Most of his closest followers had fled.
There's a mark of strong authenticity in these accounts because they don't paint a flattering picture of the Magnificent 12. They look more like the Dirty Dozen than the Magnificent 12. I mean, that's just the truth of the matter about the situation. They're huddled in the upper room, quivering, and don't want to come out from behind locked doors because of the Jewish officials. They're afraid that what happened to Jesus could happen to them.
3 days later, the women came to the tomb and find it empty, according to the Bible.
On Sunday morning, they come back to anoint the body and pay their last respects. They see the empty tomb. They see angels at the tomb.
Then Jesus' little group of followers came out of hiding to claim that they had seen their executed friend back from the dead.
You can shout to this, bounce to this, clap to this, just as long as you don't question this. Asking me how God could save a man, raise a man.
They believed that with their whole hearts. And they went from denying, deserting, and betraying to being courageous witnesses to a crucified and risen Messiah.
We asked many historians what they thought about the resurrection stories. There are skeptics who say they were added to the story later.
The first question is even more basic. Was Jesus buried at all? Roman crucifixion, the purpose of crucifixion was state terrorism, and the function was to leave the body on the cross for the carrion crows and the prowling dogs. It was not simply that it made you suffer a lot, it meant that you didn't get buried. That's what made it one of the supreme Roman penalties, lack of burial. As I read those stories, I feel terribly sympathetic for the followers of Jesus because I hear hope there, not history.
Quite a few historians we spoke to disagree. They believe something did happen because they say it is hard to explain the survival of the movement for any other reason.
I know in their own terms what they saw was the raised Jesus. That's what they say, and then all the historic evidence we have afterwards attests to their conviction that that's what they saw. I'm not saying that they really did see the raised Jesus. I wasn't there. I don't know what these people saw, but I do know as an historian that they must have seen something.
I simply cannot explain why Christianity began without it. I've already said there were many other messianic or would-be messianic movements around in the first century. Routinely, they ended with the violent death of the founder. After that, what happens? The followers either all get killed as well, or if there are any of them left, they have a choice. They either quit the revolution, or they find themselves another Messiah. We have examples of people doing both.
The major difference between all of these characters and Jesus is he's the only one, apparently, whose followers were convinced they saw him alive after he was killed. And that made all the difference.
That made all the difference. As we know, the Jesus movement not only survived, it grew, and it flourished.